Hey guys, it's Mashaba, and today's video is gonna be a super in-depth tutorial all about eyeshadow. If you're a dumbass like me, then this is really gonna help you. And just like math, makeup has a formula. This formula can apply to literally any eyeshadows like blue, green, pink, orange, anything. The next makeup tutorial you'll watch, just think about this and it's just debunked, like you'll be shook. So first, I'm gonna prime my eyelids using the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer in Eden. This is the only eyeshadow primer I own, but this is the only eyeshadow primer I need. This is so good. So the point of eyeshadow primer is that it's gonna fill in all those ugly ass wrinkles you have in your eyes. Even though you may look young, I may look young, we all have wrinkles on our eyes, and just by using primer, it's just gonna fill those in and give us a smooth surface to start our makeup. It's also gonna help your eyeshadow to last longer and apply better. It's really easy to apply. All you do is use your fingertips and you blend it out. So step 2, we're gonna set everything, and I'm gonna use this powder that kind of looks like my skin tone. I'm just gonna set my entire eye with that, and what setting it does is that it's gonna make the eyeshadow primer a little less tacky. So generally eyeshadow primers are really sticky, and if it's sticky it might come off blotchy and patchy, but when you set it, it's gonna make everything smooth and it's gonna make everything just glide seamlessly all across the eyelid, and you're just gonna feel really professional and bougie. So the brush I'm using when I use to set it is this huge fluffy brush, because I like to use this one from e.l.f. because it really gets in all over the eye and it's not too big where it feels like you're powdering your entire face, but at the same time it's precise enough where it really gets the entire eye and it just gets the job done. So now that we're done actually prepping and finessing the eyelids and shit, now we're gonna get to the real shit. I'm gonna be using the Jaclyn Hill palette because everyone has this palette, literally everyone. If you don't have this, I know you're lying. If you really don't have this, I wish I could give you this through the screen right now because you need this in your life. So now for the actual eyeshadow, we're gonna go into transition shades, and what transition shades do is that they add a lot of depth and definition to the eye, so that way it just doesn't look like a block of color. So when you're blending out transition shades, you want to use a fluffy brush. You want a fluffy crease brush, so that way it really gets in the crease and it really helps to just blow out the shades. And when you're blending out the transition shade, you want your hand to be at the end of the barrel of the brush, so that way it applies less pressure, and when it applies less pressure, it's gonna look more blown out and smoky and more natural. When you put it towards the end of the barrel, it's gonna add more pressure and more pigment, but in this case we want it to look like a natural shadow. So for transition shades, for it to look really blended and smoky and all that beautiful stuff, we always want to go with 3 different transition shades, so that way it really does look blended and just all this dimension going on. So the first transition shade we're going into is this darkish brownish shade. Yeah, they're all darkish brownish shades, but in this case you want it to be around the same tone as your skin color, and you want it to be like a little bit darker. And we're gonna go into the same fluffy brush, we're gonna go towards the end of the barrel and we're just gonna blend that in. And when you're blending this in, you want it to be in circular motion, so that way it really does look buffed into the crease. So now that we're done blending in the first transition shade, we're gonna go into the second one, and we wanna go slightly darker as we go. So it's gonna be the same exact shit, but a little bit darker. And we're just gonna do the same step. We're gonna go into the fluffy brush and we're just gonna blend it in circular motions onto the eye. As you go with each transition shade darker and darker over time, what you want to do is you want to get closer to the tip of it. You want to get closer to the actual bristles, so that way you apply more pressure, and that way each time you go in with a different color, it's just going to be more defined. So now that we got the first transition shades, this is going to be our last transition shade. I know this step can be really boring, but honestly it makes the biggest difference of life. And we're going to go into a slightly darker brown shade from the last transition shade we put on our eyes, and we're going to do the same shit, blend it out in circular motions and get even closer to the tip of the brush. So for any eye makeup look, once you're done doing all the transition shades for whatever look you want, now we're going to be going into the outer corner. So for this step, we're going to take this Wet n Wild brush, and it's this fluffy flat brush, and what's going to do is going to really help you get in there, but at the same time it's still fluffy, so you still have enough fluffiness to blend it out. And for this step, we want more pigment and we want more pressure to the brush, so we're going to get even closer to the tip of the brush than we did for the last step. So we're going to be going into this darker chocolatey shade. Chocolate, I'm hungry, I want some chocolate. So for this step, for the blending, instead of using the same circular motions that we did for the last step with all the random ass transition shades, what we're gonna do is that we're gonna drag it out. So we're gonna buff it in, but we're not really gonna do circular motions. We're not gonna make it as blown out as before. So now we're done with the outer V. Now we're gonna go into the balls of the eyes, because that's my favorite part right there. Balls. So before we go in for this step, I'm gonna take my flat shader brush from the Naked 3 brush. I love this shit so much. Holy shit, this this brush is so useful. I think every single person in the world needs this shit. And then I'm gonna be going into my setting spray, and what we're gonna do, especially for shimmer shades, and this works like a godsend, like a fucking miracle. And we are going to spritz the brush. So I did about like 2 spritz on the front and the back of the brush. After that, I'm just gonna wait for that to dry. You're gonna grab any pop of color you want, black, blue, purple, yellow, orange, whatever the fuck. Any shimmer goes right in the middle. And we're gonna go in with that flat shader brush and really just stamp it on the eye towards the inner corner all the way up to the middle, and just really just blow that shit out. You just wanna sweep that across your eyelids, and this part is just gonna add a bunch of life and color. And don't worry about fallout, because that is definitely gonna happen, and we're just gonna clean that up later. And now we're gonna go back into the outer V shade and go into the same flat fluffy brush, and we're just gonna buff that out a little bit so that way the gold and the outer corner look a little bit more seamless. Okay, I know this looks like fucking shit. Don't worry about the fallout, girl. I said don't worry about it. We're gonna get to that. Now we're done with the top lid of our eyes, so the last few parts are the lower lash line. And we're gonna take the flat shader brush and we're gonna go into a darkest shade, and we're gonna start from the outer lower lash line. And by adding a darker color here, typically you add a darker color there for any eye look, because it's really just gonna open up the eye and add more dimension, and it's just gonna make everything look more connected from the bottom to the top, because typically you have eyeliner and mascara at that part. So you could put any dark color. You could put in black, dark blue, dark purple, just dark red, just any dark color, and it will look beautiful. From this part to this part you want a gradient, so we put the darkest shade here, and now I'm gonna put a slightly less darker shade right here, right in the middle. And by putting the darkest here and by going in an ombre, it's really just gonna stretch out the eye and open the eye, and in the inner corner we're eventually gonna put some highlight. Girl, don't leave yet. We got one more step and then we're done. We got the inner corner highlight and we got the brow bone highlight, and basically what that step is, use any matte or shimmery shade that's on the lighter side, and this is just gonna really make your eye look more awake, and it's gonna open up the eye and add this really nice glow and light to your eye. It's really subtle and it may not seem like a huge shit, but honestly when you do it, it adds like 1 hour of sleep to your eye. So we're officially done with the eyeshadow, but obviously we're not done yet because we got this random crap on our face. One mistake that I always did was that I would just go in with the brush, I would just wipe it off with my hands, and I would just hope that that took it off, and that was a really stupid move on my part, because it would just press down the eyeshadow, and after that it's just gonna press it and sweep it across your face, blending it on your face, and you're just gonna get this huge mess, and it's just a nightmare, because then you have to redo your makeup and then you're probably late to wherever you're going. Just flick it across your face, just really just go in there real lightly, and it'll be like nothing ever happened. Now we're finally done. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope this helped you if you're a beginner, because when I was a beginner in makeup, I mean now I'd say I'm an amateur, but when I was a beginner I didn't know jack shit. So hopefully, I hope this helped you guys. I really need some help too, so let me know down in the comments if you have any ideas on how I can improve my technique. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.